up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to film a little springtime glowy look. You know, it's starting to get warm again and I'm so excited because I hate the cold. This means my skin's gonna start clearing up. We can start doing like, I don't want to say bright colors because I've really been feeling like the gold with like the muted tones, but I want to say they're lighter because in the wintertime we want to get a little bit darker, and right now I'm not doing that bright thing. I mean, I get my little neon basic Instagram girl here and there, but I really have been digging like the Yeezy colors, the light ones though, like the tan matched with the gold. I've got my body chain, my hoop, so I figure let's make a glowy makeup tutorial to go with it. So that's what we're doing today, and you know what, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, so first, as y'all know, Believe True Cream Aqua Bomb is my all-time favorite moisturizer for oily skin because it's a gel base. In my last video I talked about my favorite primers, but I've actually hopped on the bandwagon of not using primers, so I've just been using like a good amount of moisturizer, and honestly I haven't really noticed that much of a change in my makeup. One thing that I love to do for my brows to make them go on so much easier is put moisturizer on them. It just makes everything go on so much smoother, and trust me, it's a hack you want to be using. Something else that I like to do to help me get like a nice brow, I don't think I've ever talked about this in a video, is I always have like a paper towel or a piece of toilet paper or Kleenex or something on my vanity when I'm getting ready. And what I like to do is have like a little bit of like moisturizer, or since I have so many primers and I don't use them anymore, I put like a squirt of primer on it to like make sure I like, if you can really see what I'm doing, I like take my brow, my angled brush for my brows, and I just like run it along there to make sure that it's like ultra fine and like super clean. And this helps me get like such a more natural brow because I can really do more brow hair strokes because it's so thin, and it also keeps my brush lasting so much longer. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take that brush. I use the Anastasia number 7B, and then my favorite Anastasia dip brow in the color chocolate, and then I just draw on my brows. All right, so now that your girl's got her brows on, it's crazy how much a difference that brows make. I wish I had like darker skin so I could wear like just my brows, but with how pale I am and my dark ass brows, I literally look insane without makeup. But maybe one day I'll get tan. Not anytime soon, but maybe one day. For my next step, what I'm gonna be doing is applying my foundation, and I actually watched this video where this girl talks about how she went to like a Makeup by Mario, or it was Ariel, one of those three. There's like Samuel, Mario, Ariel, and they all are like with the Kardashians and do their makeup. I can't remember whose she attended, but it was one of their little like sessions where they do makeup and stuff on a model. And one of the techniques that she talked about was not using as much foundation, but blending it out like as much as you can to get more coverage. And so I've been trying out that technique, and I actually love the way it makes my makeup look. For some reason, I just feel like more glowy and like beautiful. I don't know what it is, because usually I'm like, the more the merrier, but with this technique I absolutely love it. I'm gonna be using the shade Macaroon in the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. And then if you guys still have not bought this sponge, like you're seriously like just fucking up your life. Like I can't trust you for anything if you're not using the Morphe Beauty sponge. So because this foundation is basically like paint, I literally take like the tiniest amount of it. I mean, it's still probably a lot for like some people, but for me, this is only a little bit. I take probably like half a pump, and then I just like completely blend this out across my whole face. So before, I would barely cover anything with this little amount, but now I literally will just sit here and blend for like 10 minutes straight, and it just makes me look so good. but the more and more like you blend it out, for some reason your skin just looks so like seamless and just beautiful. One thing I've also started doing is focusing the foundation more here and using less under the eye, especially because like I want my freckles to come through as much as possible. And I'm also gonna be putting concealer right there, so I want to keep it a little bit lighter because this isn't the only layer that I'm gonna be putting on right there. And then of course, if you have much more problem spots, you can just go in with a concealer that's similar in color to your foundation. I know most people like me buy concealer that's much lighter because we use it to highlight, but if you're gonna use this technique, you're gonna want a concealer that's similar to your foundation color as well. Okay, so I just finished blending out my foundation and I kind of want to like come in closer to you guys so you can kind of see how well this foundation actually covers. And I literally just spent probably like 5 minutes just like all over my face with my beauty blender, and I used maybe like in total 1.5 pumps of foundation, and I dragged it down my neck and everything. But that hack of just like not using as much foundation, but one that's full coverage, and then just blending like your life depends on it, literally has changed my makeup game. It makes me look very full coverage, but not so cakey. So next step, moving on, I'm gonna be using my Born This Way concealer to just highlight my face. One thing that I really like about this concealer is it's super hydrating. So when you bake and set your face with like a translucent powder, you're not gonna see cracking the same as you would with a concealer that's not as hydrating. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this in like small amounts, and I'm gonna use that same technique where I'm gonna try and use a little bit less concealer but blend it out enough so I'm still having that like beautiful coverage but not as cakey. One thing I love to do when it comes to my concealer is put it down the sides of my nose right below where I would contour. That just helps make your nose look that much more snatched. Okay, so I didn't think you guys would want to sit here and just watch me blend on my face, but I kind of just wanted to like go in at the end to show you like how much I'm really taking the time to blend out this concealer to really make sure this is seamless. So now moving on, I'm just gonna bake my face. If you guys have watched my videos from before, you know I used to be like super against baking, but I don't know what it is that recently I've just been like, fuck it, I'm gonna start cooking too. Like, so I mean, everybody knows how to bake by now. I'm just using the Huda Beauty powder in the lightest shade, but for this I'm only baking on the parts where I put in my concealer because I want those to be extra light. I'm not going to be using such a white powder on my entire face because your girl's pale enough. I don't need any extra emphasis on that. And then I'm definitely making sure to take that bake up into the sides of my nose to help me for when I'm contouring create even more of like a snatched nose. We're trying to look like skinny legends on our face. Like we want to look like we cannot breathe. Oh, and yes, I did swap what beauty blender I was using to bake. I have the Juno & Co. Velvet microfiber sponge, whatever kind this is. And I absolutely love the way it sets my powder. So some people might think that's a little much to use 2 different beauty sponges while doing your makeup, but you know what, fuck them. If I want to use 5 different sponges, I will. Okay, and then as far as the rest of my face goes, I don't know how some girls like just bake in certain spots and then like put on bronzer in the other spots without setting it with powder. Those girls, I don't understand that. That does not work for me. So for the rest of my face, I'm just gonna be using the Makeup Revolution, what is this called? Makeup Revolution luxury baking powder. I was super hesitant to buy this because it's such a small container, but this has lasted me for so long, and I got the banana one, and even though I'm so fair, this honestly blends into my skin and gives me like a nice amount of color rather than using like a white powder all over my face, and also helps me with the different effects of like highlighting that I'm trying to do because the powder is a little bit darker. Okay, so I just finished contouring my face as well because I figure why show that, because I mean you guys have seen me contour my face a million times, and also everybody contours differently. So I mean I didn't do anything like special or different, so I was like, I feel like this is just repetition of something people are like already used to. So my next step, what I'm gonna be doing is taking my Hoola bronzer, your girl's fave, and then I'm gonna be going in with the Morphe M527. If you need a new like bronzing brush, or like even if you don't need a new one, you should go get this one. Literally the best brush I've ever used for bronzing. I used to use the Sephora sculpted small contour brush, and I use this to contour, and then I used to use it to bronze as well, but then I got this bad boy and did it change my life. I also love to use this on my forehead because like I can just really get in there softly and not have like any marks. Like it just blends out everything so well, and you can barely bring it back up into your hairline and everything. So next step with this brush, just bronze my face. I mean, this isn't really something y'all need to be told how to do. So since this is a glowy tutorial, I'm gonna be taking so for this step, okay, I'm gonna get real with y'all real quick. To have a beautiful highlight, you need a formula that is creamy. So not like literally a liquid highlighter, but it's so hard to describe. Like if you really like play with makeup a lot, you can feel the difference between textures and like the way they look on skin. And like if you notice like the difference between like Becca and Anastasia, that's my best way to compare it. Becca is like a super creamy formula, and then Anastasia is much drier, so it's like patchier, I feel. So another one that's great, that's a super creamy formula that I definitely need a new one of, is the Wet n Wild 321B and Precious Petals. These things are like $3 and they are bomb. So I'm just gonna be going in with my Anastasia number 23 brush and just highlighting my face. So for this, I like to just take it right on my cheekbone and work in circles, because I want my highlight to blend as I turn my head. I don't want it to just be there. Like I want it to have a nice transition on my face. So as you can see, when I turn my face, you can still see it from the front, but as I turn to the side, it transitions. And you just look so glowy. So one thing that I finally have gotten into is the faux freckle look. Before I was like, this is kind of dumb, but I think I've gotten them down pretty well so that they don't look like crazy. Cause you can tell in some pictures that when you would see a girl in like person that you'd be like, bitch, what are you doing? And my goal is to have my makeup look cool in photos as well as in real life, because I do have to go to work every day, and I would like to not look absolutely insane. So what I like to do with my 10-year-old contour palette, so I like to take a teeny tiny brush. It's kind of frayed out a little bit just because it's so old, but this is that brush from, remember when that like Tarte clay eyeliner came out in the tube, the Tartiest eyeliner is what it was called. This is the brush that came with it. So just like a super tiny brush. And what I'm gonna go ahead and do is take this very cool toned bronzer. It's the middle shade right here. And I literally just put this on my brush, get a good little amount on there, and then I just go to town. Okay, so the next step in creating your faux freckles, what you want to do, this is what's going to make them not look crazy like this, because obviously this does not look realistic at all, even on camera. You're going to take the clean side of a damp beauty blender and just push into your skin, and this is what's gonna help blend them in but not take them away. So you can already see it's made such a difference in just lightening them up. So now it looks like, I mean, they're a little crazy right now. I put on a lot more than usual to try and be able to see it on camera. but they are gonna look a lot more realistic this way than if you just leave the powder on how you left it. So I think we're pretty much done. I think all we have left is lips and lashes. So now that we've got our lashes on, we can move on to our lips. Today for lashes, I've been digging like using indie brands for lashes. So I'm using, the Instagram is Shop Lash Dreams, but the company is Lash Dreams, in the style Flutter. And they're like super piecey, and I love it because they're like volume but not too much, so it like works perfect with the whole like light springtime glowy. So now for our last step, we're gonna be doing lips, and I'm using the color Sweetheart from Morphe Liner. If you never used a Morphe lip liner, you need to get it together. You need to get a Morphe sponge and Morphe lip liner. These are literally $3 and they're amazing. So we're just gonna go ahead and overline the heck out of our lips. So next, you'll never guess what company of product we're using. Morphe. So I'm taking the color Boho in the lip gloss, and then I'm just gonna top that, and then we will be all done. This is my finished springtime 2019 glowy bronze makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you next time.